Hey guys, it's Bri. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll show you how I DIY'd these coupon books for my best friends for Valentine's Day using image transfers onto wood. So stay tuned. For the image transfer, I'm going to use polyacrylic as my transferring agent. And I'm using semi-gloss polyurethane spray as my finishing coat. So these are the images that I'm going to be using for my transfer. Notice that they are reversed. So I'm going to grab a scissor and just start to cut them out. For this DIY, you'll see me use the tools that you see on your screen. Please ignore the other project that you see in the upper right corner. I was working on another image transfer at the same time, so. The only tool here that you will truly need is the paintbrush. And the size of the paintbrush really depends on the size of the wood that you're going to be transferring image onto. So just be mindful of that. I do want to mention that the foam roller is completely optional. I didn't even find it that useful, so just keep that in mind as well. You'll see that I started to use another piece of wood as a wedge to get all air bubbles out to make sure that the image was laid flat. So with my image cut out, I'm going to take my paintbrush and apply the polyacrylic onto the ink side of that paper. Be sure to get all the corners and sides of your image and have a nice even coat. Not too thick because it'll start to slide, but not too thin because it'll start to come off. For this part, you're pretty much just gluing. So I took the paper and I placed it exactly where I wanted it to be on the wood. And then I used the foam roller and my fingers to flatten it out as much as I could. So maybe I'm biased, but I think that this little piece is such a cute idea. I'm gonna turn it into a rewards card or a little membership card that you would get at Panera or CVS with a barcode at the back, and it's gonna have their picture on the front. And I think it's such a cute idea if you do it. Each of the pieces need to be left to dry for about 1 or 2 hours. So in the meantime, I'm creating the actual coupons for the booklets. I want the coupons to be the same shape as the wood, but I want it to be a little bit smaller so that it can fit on the inside of the wood. So I traced the shape and then I cut along the inner lines so that it would be a smaller piece of paper. For each booklet, I chose paper that was the favorite color of the friend that I was going to or reminded me of that particular friend. So for this next part, I'm using the polyacrylic as an adhesive. After this dries, I'm going to design my coupon. I realize now that I should have designed it on computer because I'm just not very talented as far as calligraphy, but I want it to be more handmade. These coupons allow whoever receives them to turn it in for whatever is listed on the actual coupon. On mine, I put a free ride, a Starbucks date. You know, a lot of us love Starbucks, and have a shopping date. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half. So I'm gonna take some water. Yes, it's a little cloudy because I was working on another project, like I said before. And we're gonna soak the wood pieces into it. You can see the image starting to show. And you just want to use something that's abrasive. You don't have to use a toothbrush because I realized that it might be a little bit too harsh. So I started using my fingers and just lightly rubbing. And this part takes a lot of patience, let me tell you. You really want to be careful so that you don't rub the ink off. One thing that I should mention is that the ink that you use should be laser jet, not inkjet. Laser jet is what you would get from a photocopier or a Xerox machine. The inkjet, it will just be more blotty. It would run a little bit more. Laser jet is already dry before it's printed onto the paper, so it's just easier to transfer. As far as the paper, the thinner the paper is, the better, because it's less work than what you see me doing here. If it's thicker paper, it's going to be more effort to take it off, and it might be harder to get it away from the image that you're trying to show. Once you feel like you've taken off all of the paper, I would say to let it dry a little bit so that you can see if there's still some paper left over. It will turn white. And as you can see, there's the beautiful Lauren. And I'm going to coat the top of it with some polyacrylic. Be careful, as I said before, guys, when you are rubbing off the paper. And like I said, the thinner paper, the better. I did take off some of the edges of the image, but it's just a bit of her shirt and a little bit of her hair. Okay, so here was the finished product of Shardae's membership card. Again, patience, 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 because that was a little messed up as well. Here's Chelsea's official membership card. Beautiful. And here is Brittany's membership card. And if you can see there at the end near her name, there is a little bit of more white paper. And here I'm just going to show you the steps that I went through. So again, I just wet the piece of wood, making sure that the paper is saturated, and then rubbing patiently with my fingers, taking the paper off and revealing the ink below. This came out much better because I tried my best not to rush. And then I applied a top layer of polyacrylic to seal. Now, my original idea was to make this into a keychain kind of thing. I looked for binder rings, but I didn't like how they looked. And keychains would be such a hassle to put on to the wood things and then into the paper. So I found some wine glass labels and I thought that they were so perfect. So I decided to use those. If you're wondering how I created the hole at the top corner, I just used the scissor and continued to turn until I drilled a hole into the wood and then the paper. Alright, so once everything is done, all the holes are drilled into place, I'm going to take the polyurethane spray on that last layer of top coat just to seal everything in. So here it is, the Girls Room official member coupon book and membership card attached. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took a long time, but it was a lot of fun to make. As always, let me know what you want to see next. Subscribe and share with your best friends. And don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you. Bye.